Heading into another game night, Monday night, playing the Islanders again. Welcome to Rangers Daily. I'm Todd Werwa. Let's take a little spin around the weekend. A little bit of news out of the Rangers camp. Not much. The players had Sunday off. But on Saturday, Artemi Panarin was back skating with the team. Non-contact jersey, but was good to see him out on a line he's normally on. Good to see him out there getting closer, inching closer. I know they'd like to get him into at least one of the preseason games coming up. He's in the final year of a 7-year deal. Gotta say, it's been a fantastic signing, that's for sure. But we need him healthy. We need Artemi Panarin healthy. Glad to see he's progressing that way. Number two, Molly Walker had a good article in New York Post talking to Mike Sullivan about Alexis Lafreniere, but also the power play and some of the stuff they've been doing. It's been interesting. They've had several looks to keep players from playing, too much. They don't want 22 minutes a game every game. That between guys doubling on the power play and on the PK, that can just be a grind over 82 games. So a lot of guys are going to get power play minutes, including Alexis Lafreniere, who needs it. He's been a fantastic 5-on-5 scorer, but really hasn't gotten the power play playing time. And I think he needs that both to increase his stats so you really feel a better sense of value of what you're getting from a number one overall pick. But I also think it will help keep him in rhythm, help get him better opportunities for goals. He'll probably be the one moving around. Not necessarily the Chris Kreider role, but you can see him working in front. You could see him one-timing some also, but it'll give him a chance to play with the best scorers, play on a unit that's expected to score in addition to his regular line mates. So I think getting Lafreniere the power play time that we've all been clamoring for, I think Sullivan's totally on board with that. Now, the power play group included Lafreniere and Trocheck, who bounced between 1 and 2. Adam Fox, Artemi Panarin, Mika Zibanejad. Number 2 had Will Cooley, Gabe Perreault, Scott Morrow, and Matt Rempe. Rempe, we saw in a previous game him just creating screens in front. He's a big dude. And goalies don't like having him in front, that's for sure. We'll see how much that lasts in the regular season. But they're trying to get different players in there so it's not the same unit all the time. Obviously, they've gone to the now conventional 4 forwards, 1 defenseman. Sullivan had a real good quote just talking what they've been working at camp. He said, "You saw us work 6 guys into the top unit. It gives us the opportunity to present a different look, different sticks, lefties, righties, different positions, completely different look, which makes us, I think," that's Sullivan, "more difficult to defend against because of that." Well, the power play wasn't all that good last year. It definitely had its struggles, and obviously it gets some changes this year. So it seems like a really good goal to get as many people worked into this power play unit as possible and to really maximize when someone needs to get on the ice if they've been off of it for a while because of penalty killing, or to get them off the power play if they've been doing too much penalty killing, or just to mix it up so you have, like he says, different looks, different sticks, one-timers coming from different sides. It'll look different. It'll be a work in progress, but I think it has the potential to really be way better than it was last year. And third, on Saturday, Perreault and Othman rotated into the main group, which is good. It means maybe the young kids are making an impression. So Perreault played with Laba and Brodzinski, Othman with Parsonen and Radish. Parsonen, the initial shot to be the third center. Laba really has come on during this training camp and preseason games, and maybe he has a shot of making the opening night roster as well and possibly being the third center. But seeing Perreault and Othman with those guys, obviously the other lines probably pretty much set. Cooley, Miller, and Mika, Panarin, Trocheck, and Laffy, and then most likely Edstrom, Carrick, and Rempe, although obviously some people can work their way in if Rempe starts taking some penalties, or they want a different look, faster look, depending on another team's lines. But I don't know who the leader in this Perot-Othman race might be. Berard probably in the mix as well, but good to see them getting with the main group instead of with the secondary, most likely going to Hartford group. Second up, after last year's performance at home, Rangers went 19-19-3. They were 28th in the league. Their home power play was 27th. And then these last two games, seeing the third period collapses at MSG, are we worried about these struggles at home? There's just something that you should win more of your home games and then take the toss-up on the road. They were actually 14th in the league on the road last year, 2017-4. Again, new coach, new system, some new players in the mix, so it will be different. It won't be a continuation of last year, but I love how the Vegas Golden Knights call their home rink the Fortress. Well, MSG should be the same. MSG should be a fortress, should be a really, really tough place for road teams to come in and win. And when you see consecutive collapses, albeit with backup goaltenders in, and it's preseason, but they really need to take a little pride in stepping up the home record and making MSG a difficult place to play, difficult place to come in, where the Rangers are going to be in your face. We've talked about the no BS attitude. They need to make it really, really difficult for teams to come in. And sometimes you're going to get teams on the back end of a back-to-back, especially when those West Coast teams come in and play the Islanders and the Devils and the Rangers all in a short span, or they do they play two of them, then go up to Boston and then maybe come back. So take advantage of every possible aspect of making MSG as difficult of a home rink, for other teams to come into as possible. That really will be a huge step toward getting this team back to the playoffs. Thirdly, let's take a look at the week ahead. There are 3 games Monday at UBS Arena against the Islanders. We just saw them play the Islanders. One would think at UBS, the Islanders will have a much more veteran-laden lineup than they brought over to MSG. Whether it's Bo Horvat in the lineup. I'm sure you'll see a whole lot more veterans. Maybe we get to see Matthew Schaefer. Probably get to see Matt Barzal. So it should be a game. We'll see what the game group looks like. And again, it's a chance for the Rangers to shake off the woes of the last 2 third periods against an opposition that they're fairly familiar with, even though we'll see some different faces in the lineup for the Islanders. On Thursday, they play the Devils. This one's at MSG. They played the first preseason game of the year against the Devils, and it really was a Hartford-laden lineup, so to speak. I would assume we'd likely get Jack Hughes from the Devils, would likely get most of the veterans, maybe Panarin for the Rangers. We'll see, but most of the veterans should be in there, as it's the second to last preseason game. So that one should be good. That rivalry's, of course, gotten heated. We'll see if Luke Hughes is signed by then for the Devils. So that one will be a good one to watch on Thursday. And then on Saturday, they head up to TD Garden, up to Boston for the final preseason game. That's October 4th, before the season starts against the Penguins on October 7th. So busy week. We should have cuts coming up. Obviously, major group will be sent to Hartford, and we'll get closer and closer to figuring out who the lead candidate for third center is and who will be on the wing of that line. Should be interesting. And finally, 3 quick takeaways just from the camp and preseason so far. Goaltending, the top 2 have looked very good. I know some of the backups haven't been fantastic, but the top 2 with Shesterkin and Quick have looked pretty good. They've stopped 35 of 39 shots. It's only an .897 save percentage, but Shesty's been in once, stopped 10 of 11. Jonathan Quick stopped 12 of 13 in the first game for a .923. So both of them have looked in midseason form. And you got to admit, it's not easy being a goalie in preseason when you've got lines that don't have any chemistry. You've got D pairs that don't necessarily have chemistry, that are working on a new system, switching up from Laviolette's man-to-man to more of a zone aspect. So it's good to see both of those goalies playing pretty well right off the jump, because it's not easy to get your work in and feel like it's a regular season game when you're playing with such jumbled lineups. And let's talk about the D pairs. Looking like Gavrikov, Fox, Susi Borgen, and Urho Vakanainen and Schneider. Scott Morrow will likely make the team, I think, because I think he's been good and he's been quarterbacking power play 2. Where he fits, that I don't know. We'll see how Sullivan shakes that out. And the third thing I wanted to get in there is just that change to the system, that change from a man-to-man system to more of a zone system. I think that takes advantage of the players we have. It's not asking too much of a decor that, if you stack it against some of the others, isn't the greatest. I think that Gavrikov-Fox pairing is going to be pretty good. The others, they'll have to punch a little above their weight, so to speak, in order to keep the Rangers in games sometimes. But I think it's good. According to Sportlogic, last year the Rangers were 30th in slot shots allowed per game and 23rd in high danger scoring chances allowed per game. They're going to need, we've seen some goals scored in tight against them already this year. They're going to need to be a little bigger, tougher, more physical, keep teams more to the outside, and hopefully that zonal marking system will help. Anyway, it's game night, or depending on when you're watching, game tonight on Monday night at UBS against the Islanders. Please hit the subscribe button, hit the bell for updates. This is Rangers Daily. I'm Todd Werwa. Hope you enjoyed the show. Thanks for watching.